Hello and welcome to episode 10, the final episode in this series of For Pete's Sake, the ongoing series in which I go through my dad's record collection one by one in order to honour his memory and, try and discover the kind of man that he was through his records. So, you might notice we have a special guest this week. This is my daughter Florence. And she's here for two reasons. One, because of time constraints and the fact that there's no one else here at the moment to look after her. And two, because I was reflecting on there are so few photos of me and my dad, and in the process of making these videos, it's made me consider, forced me to think about my own legacy with my daughter, and how I wish that I had more photos and a single video of me and my dad together, because there's no video at all of us together. There's probably about 30 photos or something, maybe 40 photos that exist of me and my dad, which is just like the way things were back then. Yeah, that's right, darling. Because people weren't taking so many photos, people weren't walking around with cameras in their pocket. So people weren't taking as many photos. So I thought it'd be nice, just this one time, to kind of create something that served the dual purpose of kind of honouring my dad's legacy and also helping to create my own legacy with my own daughter. And maybe one day she'll watch it and be able to reflect on her old dad, and the good times that they had. So that is why this little one is here. So I don't know how much this is going to affect the format of the show, because obviously a lot of it will depend on her whims, but let's see how it goes. So there was no episode last week because I was poorly, and that made me reflect as well on stories about me being ill when I was little. Just one thing I wanted to talk about. When I was poorly, my dad, when I cut myself, when I hurt, when you're a little boy, you always play football, skinning your knee, grazing your skin, all that kind of stuff. And my dad would put this stuff, I think it was called TCP on it, and it'd sting so bad, and I hated it, and it stank. And then one time, I had a really bad sore throat, and he was like, "Oh yeah, gargle with this." I was like, "Gargle with that?" So not only, what is this magic potion that you put on cuts, but you also gargle it in your mouth when you've got a sore throat? And I can still remember how disgusting it was and how awful it tasted. And any hint of me being ill after that, he'd reach for the TCP and I'd say, "No, I'm fine, Dad, actually, I'm alright, I'll get to school." So it might not have made me feel better in a health way, but it certainly acted as a deterrent for me pretending to be ill. Thank you, darling. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, so this week's album is Déjà Vu by Crosby, Stills, Nash Young, who were kind of like a supergroup in the 60s and 70s, made up of Neil Young, Stephen Stills, and the other two I'm going to have to reach for their names because I can't remember them. Graham Young, is it? Sorry, Graham Nash, obviously, and David Crosby. David Crosby, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash, Neil Young. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. So this was their. I'm just gonna have to crack on with that. So if the lighting's gone funny, I apologise. This is their second album, released in 1970, when my dad would have been 13. So I don't know when he bought this. As I said 2 weeks ago, he had two copies of this album, which is funny because it's called Déjà Vu. But I think one of them might have been my mum's, because there's no way that he would have bought it twice as some kind of cosmic joke. Because he didn't like buying one thing, never mind buying the same thing twice. He wasn't a man who loved parting with his cash, my dear old dad. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Here it is. Are you going to help me hold it, darling? You think about this? Thank you, sweetie. That's it. So this is Crosby, Stills, Nash Young, Déjà Vu. It's a beautiful album cover. It's got like an old-timey photo, which still would have been old-timey, I think, even in 1970 when it was released. And it's just got a really classic feel with the kind of the brown mixed with the gold, and the font as well, the beautiful lettering is really nice as well, it's really cool. And then the back, which has now got a small amount of saliva on it, so thank you, darling. The back again is very classical, just the list of songs as you'd expect from this kind of outfit. I also enjoy that there is just a dog on the front cover as well. I like the idea of them all kind of recorded in some rural studio and there's a dog running around, even though that's not how it was recorded. And in fact, the only song that really they all played on at the same time, I think, was Woodstock, which is the last track on side A. So the songs that I wanted to talk about for this one, I'm going to keep this brief. They all kind of brought songs to the table, and then they would normally the person who wrote it would sing it, but they'd all be kind of playing on each other's songs as well. So let me just find my notes. You've been very good, darling, well done. Okay, so the first song I wanted to talk about was the opening track, Carry On, which Noel Gallagher is a massive fan of Neil Young. He covered Hey Hey My My live a bunch of times, and the riff from the song itself sounds a lot like Noel's solo stuff. And it's a jaunty guitar riff that kicks it off, and then there's gorgeous harmonies and uplifting lyrics. He talks about rejoice, we have no choice but to carry on. But that might also be, it sounds kind of uplifting, but the band were all going through hard times. When they recorded the first album, they were all in relationships, and then by the time this second album came out, they'd all kind of split up and were in a much worse place. And one of them, I think it was Graham Nash, his girlfriend had died in the run-up to the recording of this album, and he was in a really bad place. Then I wanted to talk about Teach Your Children, which is such a beautiful song, pretty simple, folky, suggests a wiseness beyond their years. Do you not like that one, sweetheart? Oops. Good stuff, smooth. Because these are not old men at this time in their life, but they're singing about big, profound emotions, which betrays, their youth, I guess. Then you've got Helpless, which for me is the most Neil Young song on the album, and probably my favourite song on the album as well. It's really, really good. If you've heard one from this one, apart from the big one, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, Helpless will be it. It's just got a great chorus, just sounds exhausted in it, just at the end of his tether, and it's beautiful. And then of course, the most well-known song from this album is Our House, which is what we're doing with this, which is just beautiful. And if you haven't heard that song, I would urge everyone listening to this. It's a hat. Hello. I would urge everyone listening to this to go and listen to Our House by Crosby, Stills, Nash Young, because it's such an amazing song. And I don't know why I think this, but it's very autumnal in my opinion. It's a very cosy song. It's a very fires roaring, wind is kind of blowing outside and you're inside, just all cozy and stuff. Yeah, so it's lovely in that respect. So, yeah, those are the 4 songs that I would recommend. So just to go through them again, that was Carry On, Teach Your Children, Helpless, and Our House. But I feel like I've said this about every album that I've listened to so far, but it's really short again. Albums were much shorter in the 70s. It's 33 minutes, I think, and it's 10 tracks. If you are someone who is serious about music history, particularly if you're into kind of rock and roll and folk music and that kind of stuff, this is an album that you should be listening to. Rolling Stone had it in their top 500 albums of all time. It's received various plaudits. It's probably considered their best album. So this is one that while those 4 songs are the standout tracks, the whole album is great. That was a good shot, sweetie. Well done. So where do we go from here then? That's 10 albums done, or 9 albums in the Oasis special. Is it? What we're doing? I'm there. So I'm going to take a little break now. I am going to do at least one bonus episode in November, because that is when my dad my dad's birthday is in November, and he also died in November. So I am going to do something then. But I'm not going to pick an album because I don't know when the next season's going to be. I don't know. I don't know what the format's going to be, or if things are going to change or anything like that. So yeah, it's going to be a little while. I've really enjoyed going back through my dad's memories, and I think it's brought me closer to my daughter in lots of ways as well, because, as I say, it makes you reflect on your legacy and the way that people will look back on you when you're gone, which is a heavy thing to think about. And like, this has been a heavy process recording these videos, which is again why I'm kind of taking a break. But thank you everybody for listening. I've got some good stuff coming up. I've been speaking to some relatives. My auntie Kath sent me some lovely stories that she'd handwritten, and I look forward to kind of talking about them next time. But I think, oh, that's nice. I think I better go. It's not Paul. I think I better go. So thank you everybody for listening, commenting, sharing. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you, I guess, in a few weeks when I come back. Thank you very much. Ugh.